All right, let's talk about MongoDB. Their Q2 earnings just dropped, and wow, do they ever stun the market. The stock went absolutely ballistic, so we're going to break down exactly what happened, what it all means, and why this is a big, big deal.
So, here's the game plan. We'll start with the raw numbers, the ones that made everyone's jaws drop. Then we're digging into Atlas, because that's the real engine here. After that, we'll tackle the big question, the AI growth story. Then we'll look at their guidance for the future. And finally, my take on what to watch for in the next call.
Okay, let's get right into it. The earnings snapshot. And look, there's no other way to say it. This was an absolute monster of a beat. So let's start with revenue. The street was looking for around $553 million. MongoDB came in and just blew past that, hitting $591.4 million. I mean, that's not just a beat, that's a crush. We're talking a 24% jump year over year, which tells you demand is really heating up. But honestly, the top line wasn't even the craziest part. Check out the earnings per share. Analysts were modeling, 66 cents? They reported a full dollar. A dollar! That's just a huge surprise. This is way more than just a good quarter. It's a huge statement about their profitability.
And the market's reaction? Well, you can guess. The stock absolutely skyrocketed. We're talking over 30% in after-hours trading. That kind of move tells you one thing. Wall Street was completely, and I mean completely, caught flat-footed by how good this quarter was.
Okay, so the big question is, where did this come from? What's driving this incredible performance? Well, the answer is pretty simple, and it comes down to one word: Atlas. It's their cloud platform, and right now, it is the absolute engine of this company.
And get this, Atlas now makes up a whopping 74% of their total revenue. But here's the real kicker, the part that has investors so excited. Its growth rate accelerated. It jumped to 29% year over year. In today's market, seeing that kind of acceleration, that's a huge deal. It's a massive signal.
You know, and management sees it too. The CEO, Dev Ittycheria, he pointed right to that acceleration on the earnings call. He basically said, this is why we're so confident. And that confidence, it flowed directly into them raising their guidance for the rest of the year in a big way.
So what's the secret sauce for Atlas? Well, it's a couple of things. First, they're successfully moving up market, meaning they're landing bigger and bigger enterprise customers. At the same time, cool new features like their vector search are pulling in tons of new users. I mean, they added thousands of new customers just this quarter. That's some serious momentum.
Okay, and all this talk about new features naturally leads us to the topic that's on everyone's mind right now: AI. It's a massive part of their story going forward, for sure, but we need to be really clear about what's happening today.
So let's just ask the question straight up. Is AI the reason for this incredible quarter? Is that what's driving all this growth?
And here's what's so interesting. The answer is actually no, at least not yet. Management was super clear on the call. They said the new AI business was not material to these results. Think about that. The monster quarter they just put up, that was driven by their core business. The AI wave is still coming. Their current business is already just on fire.
This really gets to the heart of their long-term pitch for AI. They're basically saying, look, a lot of people start on something like PostgreSQL. But as their AI apps get more complex, it's like trying to build a race car by duct taping parts together. You eventually hit a wall. MongoDB, on the other hand, is designed from the ground up to be that integrated, high-performance engine. It's built for scale.
And a huge piece of that integrated engine is something called vector search. Now, don't worry about the jargon. All you need to know is that it lets AI search for things based on meaning, not just keywords. It's the magic behind those smart chatbots, and you might also like recommendations. And for MongoDB, it's not some add-on. It's built right into the platform. Okay, so a great quarter is, well, it's great, but it's in the past. What investors really care about is what's next. And that's where we look at guidance. And let me tell you, MongoDB didn't just nudge the bar up, they launched it into a new orbit.
So just to set the stage, let's remember where they were. Before this call, they were telling the street to expect revenue around, say, $2.28 billion, with operating income somewhere in the $280 million range.
Okay, now look at the new numbers. They jacked up the revenue forecast by a cool $70 million. But here's the real story. They raised their operating income forecast by $44 million. That's huge. What that tells you is that this growth isn't just getting faster, it's getting way, way more profitable.
You know, this quarter really feels like a turning point. The whole story around MongoDB is shifting. It's not the old growth at any cost tech company anymore. The new mantra is durable growth with expanding profits. And the proof? is in the pudding. They generated almost $70 million in free cash flow. A year ago, they were burning cash. That's a massive, massive swing.
All right, so let's wrap this up by putting on our analyst hats. What does this all mean for the stock and for the next earnings call? Let's talk strategy.
So as I see it, there are two big ways to think about this going forward. First, there's what I'd call the Atlas Unleashed idea. This is the bet that AI goes from just buzz to real, heavy-duty usage on their platform in the next few quarters. The second idea is the PostgreSQL pain point trade. This is a bet that as AI gets more serious, the older legacy database guys are going to start feeling the pain and losing customers to platforms like Mongo.
So for us here at Talk Tickers, our rating on this is a clear outperform. I mean, look, when you destroy estimates on every single metric, you raise your guidance this much, and your core product is actually accelerating, it's a game changer. It signals that the whole story for this company is being rewritten. The question for me is no longer if the AI business will show up, but just how big it's going to be when it does. And that's exactly what I'll be watching for next quarter.
And of course, just a reminder, this is not financial advice. Please be sure to do your own research.